Center board meeting on August 26th. Everyone please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll please. Mr. Kieran.
Here.
Mr. Gillingham.
Here.
Ms. Pritchard.
Here.
Mr. Stiver.
Here.
Mr. West.
Here.
Mrs. Deli.
Here.
Mr. Here. Our mission statement, why we're here, we are a learning community providing students with a competitive advantage through career technical education and academic excellence. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call please. Ms. Pritchard.
Aye.
Mrs. Deli.
Aye.
Mr. Kieran.
Aye.
Mr. Gillingham.
Aye.
Mr. Stiver.
Aye.
Mr. West.
Yes.
Mr. Husker. Yes. Number 3, public participation. Do we have anybody that would like to speak to the board? Okay. Our next regularly scheduled board meeting is September 23rd, 2025 at 6 p.m. at this main campus. Number 5, acceptance of charitable gift agreement.
I will take this. Well, first off, for those of you that are connected with the paper versions of this, I apologize. Annette gets a vacation even though I disagree with it. So in her absence, someone was responsible for printing and that didn't happen. So I apologize right off the bat. So we were fortunate enough to work with the Ken Cleveland Foundation previously when we did the construction trades building. And they, at that point, gave us $2.5 million towards that construction. So on that one, it was 4.5. The agreement was such that it was supposed to be over the course of time. They did a vote and they expedited the payment of that. We did have a chance, and then about 2 months ago, maybe a little bit more than that. We met with the Ken Cleveland Foundation again, and the conversations revolved around what would you do if you had an opportunity to go again? And we presented them with a folder, and in the folder was an opportunity to build another building exactly where the old one or where the current one is. We're going to clear the swell and go again. I think that this is being recorded because I have to admit that I'd rather be lucky than good. We have to be 200 feet from the wellhead. Building the exact same building at the exact location of where we need to build is at 204 feet. So we make it by 4 feet. So I'm going to tell my kids that it was perfect planning, but the recording will show I got lucky. So it is going to be adjacent to the current one. We will move construction, electricity out. We will move HVAC out. And when we do that, the subsequent thing will be the Ken Cleveland Construction Academy, where all 4 programs will collaborate with each other. Currently, we've got construction trades on the far side, on the far east side, HVAC dead center in the building, and electricity on the far western part. They don't collaborate as much as they possibly could if they were in adjacent buildings. So we presented it to them, and I will got two members of the board. They have them to kind of take it from here. We got Mr. Bucks and Mr. Fuller. So if you guys would like to take the floor at that point. They're going to go. That one goes front. When we take the official picture, we will do a photo out in front of the building.
So I'll say hello again to the
Hello.
board. Thank you for having us back. We were here a few years ago. And I would be less than frank if I told you that we had some doubt that Mr. Christman could really pull this off. He had a very aggressive schedule, and he told us that if we could help with the funding, he thought he could double the number of students coming through the carpentry class. Ken Cleveland was a master builder. He was the owner and president of Ken Cleveland Builders, built many, many houses in Medina County. In his final years, he complained to me that the tradesmen were dying off. The carpenters, the electricians, the HVAC people were all getting older. And that he thought it would be difficult for construction in Medina County without young students coming into the trade. And so then Mr. Christman told us that if we could help with some funding, he could double the number of students coming through. And he did. And he built the building faster than he told us he could build it. He invited us to come to the grand opening, and we got to meet the young students. And I'm told that the placement rate for students from your construction trades is 100%. That contractors are coming, recruiting, the way they recruit for athletes to go to Ohio State or Akron or Kent State. They recruit for your students. So 2 months ago, when Mr. Christman and Mrs. Whistle again came to our board meeting and told us they thought they could double HVAC and electrical if they could get a new building. And that he thought he could build it in a year. And could we help with the fund? We excused him from the meeting. We had a discussion. Nothing works like success. And Mr. Christman and Mrs. Whistle have been successful with the first building, and we are happy to fund a large part of the second building. I will tell you that we have a charitable gift agreement. That's what they're going to vote on. We're going to place $3 million. We have a check here, a big one, because we hope there might be some press and photographers here, and it would be good for the Career Center and good for the Ken Cleveland Foundation. We're going to transfer, assuming that the board will agree to sign the gift agreement, we're going to transfer $500,000 to you tomorrow morning from Huntington Bank. We're going to give you another $500,000 every year on the anniversary of the first gift. There are some stipulations. You have to build the building. You have to fill it with students. You've already demonstrated to us that you know exactly how to do that, and that the students are there, they just need the space. And like the last one, we may find our way clear in finances to accelerate the payments. So I'm here to tell you that we're happy to give you $3 million to build that electrical and HVAC building. We have great sense of accomplishment from the last building. We expect we'll have the same sense of accomplishment in a year or so from right now. I'm happy to answer any questions. I will tell you that Mr. Cleveland is deceased. And if he were here today, he would have a smile as big as this U-shaped table, because his goal of having young students become tradespeople in Medina County is taking place with his money. And of course, with Mr. Christman and Ms. Whistle and the board. So we are just delighted to be here and to give you an offer of $3 million.
Questions?
Thank you.
I'm rather sure we will get press out of this. Our best friend from the Gazette, Sarah Crawford, is here. So Sarah's gonna take some pictures, and I'm sure she'll have a couple of questions for you later, right, Sarah?
Thank you so much for your time.
The press is that Ken Cleveland Foundation is going to last in perpetuity. And we like making big gifts. Now, we're a little tapped out for a little while, but we're not done making gifts for Mr. Cleveland's goals in Medina County. And so if there are other people that have a need for funding and they hear about this gift, once we've recovered a little bit financially from the $3 million gift, we'd like to do the same thing again for you or someone else.
Thank you for your trust in us.
Oh, thank you. You have earned the trust with Mr. Christman and Mrs. Whistle, for sure. I have with me Les Fuller, who was Ken Cleveland's field superintendent. He's the guy who went out to make sure all the houses were done right. And if you had a complaint, he was the guy you called. He is on board with Ken Cleveland Foundation, and he has a copy of the check. Les, can you?
If we could have the Board of Education go out front along with our two friends and do a photo op. That'd be a good thing to do.
Mr. Bickman, we know that just as my board, the Ken Cleveland Foundation Board, signed the gift agreement, we know you have to sign that too. So if you want to wait till that's done.
Well, okay, that would be very appropriate. If you could do a roll call now for the acceptance of the gift.
Yes. Roll call, please. I have a motion. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Pritchard.
Aye.
Mr. Gillingham.
Aye.
Mr. Karen.
Aye.
Mr. Steiger.
Aye.
Mr. West.
Yes.
Mrs. Deli.
And number 6, please, educational presentations.
Hello, everybody. I'm excited to be here today to talk to you a little bit about nursing simulation and the development of the LPN program. One of the key components to providing what our students need involves simulation for nursing. So first of all, I know a lot of you just because like Mr. Steiger, I went to Black River, I've known you forever, but you probably don't know much about me. I started as director of nursing here in February, working part-time, and then came on full-time in July. And still working some at AU and teaching, but I'm so excited to be here and to help bring to Medina County a nursing program. We so need it in our county, and this is where I've grown up, and I'm very excited to be here. Excited to hear about the construction opportunity too. My husband graduated from the Career Center in construction and has stayed in the field his whole career. So I'm excited that I'm here and I get to be a part of this. But today we did bring some demonstration for you. So throughout the PowerPoint that I'm going to share with you, there is a point where I'm going to ask you to step over there and have a little demonstration so you can see what I am recommending that we purchase to help enhance the clinical learning, not only for the LPN program that's coming, but also for other interdisciplinary teams that are involved in healthcare that we do offer education to here. So it's not just for nursing, even though I'm very excited to be working towards that accreditation and very hopeful that we will be ready to go by next fall with that. So maybe just give you a little information about that. It is still in the initial process. We had to submit a letter of intent to the Board of Education or to the nursing board, and we are waiting to hear back from them. I'm really not allowed to move forward with steps too much to develop the program until that has been approved by the board, and then I can begin to make those next steps. However, my mind is working. I'm working all the time on it, even though I can't officially present anything about that yet. So the power of simulation in nursing education. I've had the privilege of working at AU, Ashland University, since 2016, and they have an amazing simulation lab that has helped our students to learn and grow in a safe environment where they can make mistakes. We don't want to make mistakes on real people, right? But we want to have learning environments that are safe for them to make those mistakes in as they learn. So simulation will help to develop not only their clinical competency and their skills, but also their confidence, because it is in a safe environment that they can practice those skills in before they're in the clinical setting, and then continue to grow those throughout the program. Patient safety is the top priority, and this does simulation helps students to be prepared to provide safe care to their patients. Why simulation? So one of the reasons that simulation is so important is that it is hard to get clinical sites for nursing programs. And the Ohio Board of Nursing, Ohio does allow us to use simulation to replace clinical for maternity and for peds. most pediatric and clinical sites will not allow LPN programs in to do clinicals because they have so many BSN students that are in those areas that they can't possibly facilitate the LPN students. Another reason is that safe, consistent practice. So allowing a student to practice IV skills, practice resuscitation, so many different skills that they learn, Foley insertion, even therapeutic communication. So important for students to have that. And as the person who's running the simulator on the other side of it, sometimes I am the voice of that patient. So I can respond to them with my own voice, or as you'll see later, the mannequins can also respond too. And I'll show you how that is. Also, the rising complexity of patient care. So from, long-term care facilities all the way through to ICU units. There's a range of level of care that students need to learn. And when we create a simulation lab, we can create all those different environments for our students. And you'll get to see all the offerings that the mannequins can help us to bring to our students related to complex care. And then accreditation. So to get accreditation, we have to have the resources that our students need in order to provide for them what they need for the education. And the NCLEX demands, NCLEX is the exam that they take at the end of the course or at the end of the program. And there's proven results and research to show that simulation improves pass rates, which as an education institution, we want our students to pass their board exams and to be safe for practice as well. What is simulation? So unless you work in the medical field, you may not know a whole lot about simulation. I did look at several different companies and I brought a couple of them for many of you that work in adult ed and IT. You came to see those. As I was choosing what would be best for Medina, what ones to recommend. And honestly, I was surprised at my choices because I've always used Layerball products at Ashland University, but I'd never been exposed to anything new. And when I had this demonstration, I learned that lesson of you don't just always do what you are familiar with. Sometimes you have to do the research and find that there's something better. And I believe that Gomard is that product, and we'll talk about that when we look at the mannequins there. But they provide real life clinical scenarios and situations for students to work through. They have mannequins as well as other, I'm sure you've seen CPR mannequins. I'm sure you've seen the arms that we practice IVs on or we draw blood from, those kind of things as well, and task trainers. And then standardized patients in simulation is like a real person. So having a real person volunteer to be an actor and we kind of train them so that they are standardized in their responses to students. And then pre-briefing, so before a simulation, we do want students to kind of learn the topic that we're going to talk about in simulation so they have some preparation coming into it. So for instance, my specialty is labor and delivery and postpartum. So for one of my labs at AU, I have students learn about preeclampsia and the risk factors of preeclampsia and all the things that can happen. We talk about it in lecture. Hopefully they get the opportunity at some point to see it in clinical, but that's another reason why we have simulation, because obviously I can't make a mom have preeclampsia on the day that I send my students to clinical. So they might not get that real life case to help them learn about it. So then I can create that real life case by having Victoria is our simulator here today. And I can create the scenario of a patient who has preeclampsia. So they do some pre-work to learn about it, and then they come to the lab ready to perform what they might have to do as a nurse in that situation. And then afterwards we debrief. So often these simulations are videotaped so that we can play back what went well, what didn't go so well. We also usually have a couple of the students be peer reviewers. So they are in another room watching on a TV screen everything that's happening in the sim lab. And they're writing on the board, what's going well, what's not going well, what were the patient's vital signs, what meds were given, did they push that med at an appropriate rate or not? And then of course, the best practice is that there's two instructors that are there to watch the sim and kind of prepare for that debriefing to talk about with the students what they could do better and those kind of things. So the debriefing is very structured and talked about, and actually a lot of the learning takes place in that debriefing. We learn really well by making mistakes. Can anybody say amen to that? Because if we make a mistake, we remember what we did wrong to never repeat it again. So we never want to make students feel bad about making mistakes in that simulation environment. It's supposed to be a safe place for them to learn. So some key benefits to simulation: it does improve clinical judgment. The research shows that it increases retention of their knowledge by 50%, and part of that is that pre-briefing and debriefing. We learn by doing more, right, than by just reading in a book. And so they're able to learn by doing. Also, the great thing about simulation is we can make it interdisciplinary. So the great thing about Medina is we have many programs that could be involved in a simulation. We can have our CNA students, our MA students, fire and EMS could be, delivering the patient to us on the unit, giving us a report, and actually simulate what they would be doing in real life, involving all of those disciplines. So I do have a vision that one day, it may take a while to get there, but that all of our programs that would be involved in those simulations. And then I already talked about the safety of things, so important for patient safety. So simulation helps to reduce medical errors. So having students in a sim lab actually practice looking at the 5 rights of medication on their patient, looking up the med to make sure that the doctor ordered a safe dose, and learning all of those things in that safe environment. It also allows to train for emergency situations. So often students in an emergency situation in a clinical setting, they might get to be a viewer of what's happening, but they're not totally involved. And being involved helps that learning to be more productive. So STEM is a safe place for them to do that, and for us to create these situations where mom is hemorrhaging. What are we gonna do? Can they critically think about what to do in those situations, or do they freeze up? And if they freeze up, let's talk about how we can help them so when they are in a real situation that they can respond appropriately. And it also allows for better evaluation. So evaluating by videotaping, as well as having other peer reviewers and a couple of teachers watching those sims. Students report that they have increased self-confidence by having simulation, and I already mentioned their pass rates. There's evidence through research that shows the effectiveness of it, and I already talked about the replacement of clinical hours. So in our community, it might be difficult to find local places that we can take students to experience some of these things, and SIM will allow us to still give those opportunities to our students, even if we can't give it in a hospital setting. It is a smart investment for many reasons. It reduces the need for those clinical placements. It also standardized skill assessments, so we can make sure that our students are prepared with all of the skills that they need. There is improved levels of gaining accreditation and outcomes in programs because they have simulation, and definitely it attracts students and funding. And only because it's my experience at AU, at Ashland, their simulation lab is beautiful. I can't tell you how many students I've toured through, and parents and students, that's what draws them to us. So it does bring people in and want them to come to your school because they see what you're offering them. And then integrating it, it's not like students will only use it a little bit. They will be using it in every course throughout the program. So they would use it in the very basic fundamentals of learning to bathe a patient, moving a real patient in bed to check for wounds and those kind of things, all the way up to, the pediatric and OB unit. It can be used for mental health, and it can also be used for leadership with those interprofessional collaborations and knowing everybody's scope of practice. So learning, respiratory does this part, and what part is the LPN responsible for? And then escalating complex scenarios. So it does allow us, if the student doesn't respond appropriately, I can make the mannequin code. If they push the med too fast, I can make the mannequin do what a real life patient would do in those situations. Is it a little traumatizing when they kill their patient? Sometimes, but they will remember what they did wrong. Because of that situation, and you do want to create a safe environment. So when you debrief, nobody's called on the carpet about one thing. We all talk about it and we work together to learn. In nursing education, QSIN quality safety measures are used throughout nursing education, and simulation is very much supported in those competencies that we have to meet. It also, healthcare is always changing, right? And technology is a big part of it. And so they learn how to actually document what's happening in the simulation, just like they document in a hospital setting. They learn how to pass medications to that patient, just like they learn in a hospital setting. So it allows them to have that repetitive, multiple patients sometimes, so we could set up 3 patients in a room, so as they're getting closer to their senior year, they're taking care of multiple patients, not just one patient. And then it does help to develop clinical reasoning, and we do talk about ethics. You can put ethics in any scenario to help students begin to critically think about things related to ethics as well. Some of the quotes that students report about using simulation is some report that they actually learn more in simulation than they do in clinical, and there's many factors for that. Sometimes, honestly, nurses aren't real receptive to students, and so they don't feel like it's a safe environment to learn in. Sometimes in OB, it's feast or famine. Maybe there were no laboring patients that day. So there can be multiple reasons why a student would not be exposed to a health condition that we would want them to be exposed to in the clinical setting that we then can create in the lab. All of them, every student I've had says that it helps them to build confidence because they can slowly think through things and work things out as they learn, and then we talk about it afterwards to help them even learn more. And so they feel safe to make mistakes and also to ask questions. I already talked about the interprofessional simulation, but I think it's so important in our world today that teams are working together to deliver safe care to our patients and to look at our patients holistically and to look at everybody's different scope of practice and how we contribute to that safe care. So it would definitely be my goal that in the future, all of our programs would be participating in the simulations. My recommendation for purchase after a lot of research and a lot of consideration for what our program would need, I'm just going to hand these out to you. Chris has some too. I'm basically recommending 4 high fidelity simulators, and then on the back side there is some low fidelity simulators that are more for those basic skills as they learn, because the South Campus is no longer combined with here on main campus. We can't share mannequins with the high school anymore. So the low fidelity ones are needed also for CNA and those types of programs. So you can see that it's a very expensive investment. But I believe you'll get return on this. You're going to have students that enter the program because we are prepared to deliver to them the best educational and excellent educational experience for them. So if you want, I would encourage you to walk over to the simulators now. And Robert, who's been great to work with Gomard, is going to show you which mannequin is which on here, and talk to you a couple minutes about it.
Thank you.
So I'm just gonna leave you with one quote. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, and help me and I learn. And I definitely think that simulation helps students to do that.
I have one question.
Sure.
How long have you looked at Ashland?
I've been there since 2016.
How many of these have you gone through?
They use Laravel and we have the same. They just purchased a new mom from Laravel, but they had that mannequin before I came. I don't know how many years they had her. They have like a budget that they plan for replacement of things. Because eventually things do need replaced. But they have like, I don't even know how many mannequins they have. They have ones that are in considered ICU patients, all the way down to the low fidelity ones. And several rooms.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Appreciate it. That was educational. Next, approval of minutes. We have a motion to approve the minutes for the June 24th, 2025 board meeting.
Someone,
Thank you, Nancy.
second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mrs. Deli.
Aye.
Ms. Pritchard.
Aye.
Mr. Keurin.
Aye.
Mr. Gillingham.
Aye.
Mr. West. Abstain. Mr.
Aye. Did I have a motion for the approval of the July 3rd, 2025 work session?
So I'll second that.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call please.
Ms. Pritchard.
Aye.
Mr. Keurin.
Aye.
Mr. Gillingham.
Aye.
Mr. West. Abstain. Mrs. Deli.
Aye.
Mr. Husko.
Aye. Mr. Bus, treasurer's items for information, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under items for information is the monthly financial projection. This covers July, the month of July. The one thing you'll note is the purchase service, the larger amount there, just over $2 million for July. That included a bulk of the Project Lead the Way reimbursements to your districts. I still owe Highland and Cloverleaf, but those are on in the pipeline to be paid. And we currently have just over 15 million, almost 16 million out in investments still. I will tell you, last month, because of your decision, and I believe it was June, we allocated $1,128 to the scholarship funds. So those will easily secure $500 a year for scholarships without anything. The next item on items for information is the bus quote. This was added today, and I will tell you this is for 2 buses. And if you have questions, Mr. Ernie's here. The first bus is 2025 for $127,000, and the second bus is a 2020 for $65,000.
With one bus, it's 65,000, we plan on using that for construction trades, that's why the used bus was good. But we really need something more reliable, we've got on this or various cases. We have not bought a new or newer bus since I've been here. We have bought some from other districts, but we've never bought them since I've been here. So it's been well over 60 years.
And he's like 62 buses.
This, it says on it, one was the number of seats, it says on it, one is a 60 and the other one was bigger. The other one is 72. But 72 is a fit when you talk about high schoolers. They don't sit through the seat.
It's fine.
So, new 2025. Confident.
9:30.
132,000 brand text created a brand new buzzer that was allocated for a school in the factory. It did not go to front actually actual so they consolidated.
This particular one has 600 miles on it.
How many buses do we have?
We bought one from Black River. We had, the short answer is two. Both failed bus inspection. We bought one, definitely from Black River, that had a ton of miles on it. And then we bought another one from another district, I think it was Wildwood from Wildwood. But yeah, we have some.
So we didn't read those two buses, or we just still.
They are, and
Okay.
I would assume they would be taking some like a bigger increase.
All right, good, thank you.
We want on 6,000.
I would like to move that bus quote to action items for approval.
I do have any actions.
Oh, you do? Okay, good. I do. Under treasure action items, item A is monthly financials, financial statement, and monthly expenditures. Again, I will tell you, roughly 4.5 million of the 6.8 million in paid bills for July was the bulk of Project Lead the Way and our South Campus lease agreement. So those will be getting paid out. I will tell you next month, plan to see the forecast. I will bring that to your attention for approval. And there's some changes with the audit, so I'll create a new fund to go forward next year, but I'll explain that next week. And then obviously action item is B plus 40. So I'm asking for approval of items A through B.
I have a motion for approval.
Okay.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Karen,
Aye.
Mrs. Deli,
Aye.
Mr. Gillingham,
Aye.
Ms. Pritchard,
Aye.
Mr. West,
Yes.
Mr. Russo.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Superintendent, Mr. President, items for information, please.
There is one English textbook that is being presented for information and review today. I want to get to the principal's report as quickly as I can so that Mr. Hicks can introduce our new high school staff. We'll start with that following the report. Pardon, we're going to get him out of here this soon. Yeah.
Once again, I'm very excited with our hiring class for this school year. Based on our growth, we were very fortunate to find, actually, there are 9, we don't have all 9 here tonight, incredible staff members. So thank you for allowing us to continue to grow and have class sizes that are really the most beneficial for our students. So I'm going to start with Megan here, and she can introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Megan Pacifico. I'm the new science instructor here. I've been in education for 14 years. I spent the last 9 years at Coventry High School in Akron area. I'm teaching environmental science and anatomy and physiology. Hi, I'm Jenny Fitzgerald. I am one of the teachers of social studies. Before I came here, I was at the Guiding Christian Academy. And before that, I was in Cascade Schools. I've been teaching K through 12 for 5 years, and I'm really excited to be here and thank you for the opportunity.
Hi, I'm Heidi Chapman. I am teaching in the social studies department as well. I'm teaching economics and financial lit. I came from Cloverleaf. This is my 19th year of teaching. And also very. So, thank you.
Hi, I'm Pam Wheeler. I am teaching allied health and nursing. I started my career here at 16 years old in the Diversified Health Occupations Program, which is now allied health and nursing. I've been a nurse for over 32 years, and I taught in the adult education department here for 17 years.
Hi, I'm Maggie Foreman. This is year 7 in education. However, I spent my first 6 years teaching in Virginia, so this is year 1 in Ohio. And it's been a nice change.
I'm Jillian Johnson. I am a career training and career assessment. This is my 2nd year at the Career Center. Last year I was in aid and support staff and career training. I've been in education for close to 20 years. Most of my career was at Pharmacy School, and now I am there.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ryan McMaster. I'm retired Air Force, 22 years. I was an intelligence officer. Transitioned from that role to Case Western Reserve University as a researcher for the last 6 years. And I'm going to be teaching, or am teaching currently, software engineering and web development. It's good to be here.
With this group, it's allowing us to continue to explore more options with, like Megan, she has taught at the college level, going to Raleigh, to bring in more health process in our science department. Jenny can teach our plus government, changing with Ryan in terms of what we can do with our software engineering class and incorporating AI into that. Pam basically wrote the state curriculum for medical assisting as an adult ed person. So these individuals with their wealth of experience is just going to allow us to continue to grow. So we would like to.
Thank you very much.
When you were at Gates, you were knowing to carries or what you were.
Yes, ready. Awkward. I just mentioned something.
You got yeah, 2K, my niece major case. Oh, sure, got to be that. My numbers are and I, you know, our family are
Yeah, just for that.
we put kids through school.
No, it's like
everybody
And honestly, we're already taking it in here 2 years.
Very exciting start to the first week of school was absolutely amazing. You never know what it's going to be like when you bring 6 different schools worth of students into one place. This year, probably the largest groups I've ever talked to, other than our award ceremony. It's pretty intimidating when you have over 600 students over the 2 nights. But then you add parents and siblings, so there were over 600 people in attendance both nights. We had people standing at the back doors on the north side. So it was a very exciting evening for August 12th and 13th for our new student orientation. We just met all of our new staff members. Back to school events coming up. Last year we had Smith Brothers donate a big spirit rock out in front of the OC Duke building, and it's got its first coat of paint on it. Our student leadership council came in. And painted the rock with our pillars of success here at the Medina County Career Center. So they did an incredible job on that. Our big event coming up is the morning of September 3rd is our senior sunrise. We're going to highlight something we've never done before, is include tables that for every activity or association kids can get involved here at the Career Center. Because sometimes we don't have sometimes we don't have bands, we don't have stuff like that, but we have organizations that students can get involved in. So we're going to highlight them. We're going to set all those tables up in what's called admin row out here, where students can talk to representatives from each of the technical student organizations. What is the Ambassadors Club? Things like that, so they can find a way to get involved here early on in the year. So that's the morning of September 3rd. Mr. Crispin's continued growth and impact on Medina County. We are now proud to say that we have Project Lead the Way in all our 7 districts. Black River has now this school year has a middle school program that Mr. Fitch wrote a grant for. So the first 2 years are covered under this grant, and the training for the instructors are trained. So thank you, Mr. Fitch, for doing that as well. Moving on, just to highlight some of the things that we do outside the school. Again, this is 4 Pete's, Mr. Fitch. Yes. So we have won this 4 years in a row. It's a fundraiser for Special Olympics. Our teams this year placed first and second in the corporate division. There's a picture of the scoreboard and everything. And then those of you that were able to attend the ribbon cutting ceremony for the fire tower, what an incredible building. I wanted to thank the board for having foresight in just supporting the growth of that and how it's going to be able to improve our fire associations across Medina County. Incredible event that morning. And one other thing I wanted to mention, Mr. Gillingham back in May had asked when I said how many students we had going out on summer internships, and I just had for this year. So I wanted to let him know, I went back and did some research. Back in 2021, we had 73 kids doing summer internships. During the school year, we had 122 doing post-placement, getting out of school early and going to work. 2022, we had 92 in summer internships, 145 participated during the school year. Summer of 2023, we stayed at 92, but one of the things I implemented, our businesses wanted our kids right away because they found them so valuable. Right now, I have 2 diesel tech kids. Their employer wants them. I think you gotta give me 2 weeks and then I'll give them back to you. Otherwise, you're gonna have to go out and hire other people instead of our students. So we increased, when I started making that decision, to 225 kids participating during the school year. This summer of 2024, we had 117 interns, 236 during the school year. This summer, we continue to grow. We have 140 kids participating in summer internship. It is yet to be seen how many are going to go on placement during the school year. So I just wanted to make sure that I followed up with Mr. Glenn. So are there any questions for me?
That's fantastic. What you internships being that high?
It's
That's rewarding for the student, the community, and the employer. Wow, that's great.
they're loving our students. And our students are gaining so much valuable experience working as a junior.
Well, the location that they're getting here is fantastic too. And I've been through separate classes and I've been through some hours.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, kids. Mr. Colinas Song.
Oh, no.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm excited to share some current updates with you about what's happening in adult education. I guess over the summertime, really the big things that took place since our last update, our last meeting was really getting ready for South Campus. I spent a lot of time with Gary, lots of time with Gary, lots of time with Mary. More conversations than I can imagine, and our adult education team just getting ready for that. So that took up a lot of time this summertime. And I was also honored to speak at the ACTE conference. the Ohio Conference, and that was very well attended. And I have to tell you how touched I was that we had our board representation there. Mr. Gillingham came down to Columbus, Mr. Booster came down to Columbus, and Mr. Matson came down for that presentation where we talked about the successes of the turnaround of adult education with free tuition. And it was such a packed room that literally there were people in the hallway that came to listen to the presentation because they underestimated, I think, how many people would want to come listen to our presentation by quite a bit. So people were literally out in the hallway. But it was extremely well received, so much so that we didn't have another group right behind us. And I think people were talking for 45 more minutes after the presentation. That doesn't happen at a state conference. So, so people around the state were really, really interested in everything that's happening here. To tell you a little bit about what is happening here numbers-wise, just to give you an update over the past 2 years. That's a little light, but you can see where the trend was and where the trend has went. And this is really combining two different numbers together because it is the total number of students that we've impacted. And what that is here, programming enrollment, which is one group of people, but then we also did a lot of customized training this past year. Customized training is where we're working with our local companies and businesses to help train their employees. And those numbers don't get counted by the state. They're in their numbers, but they don't get counted. So what you're looking at numbers-wise here is you'll see this is about 100. And the reason that's there is because I'm pulling this data right off of the state's website. Those are FTEs. FTEs are 900 hours of instruction. That's how the state looks at it. So if you're wondering like how many students we had, I think last time that question was asked, we had over 200 students that had been educated through adult education. And so you can see where the state comes up with that number. This will ultimately turn into more dollars for us because our state subsidy that we receive is based on our enrollments. However, it's a three-year summary, so we're still getting pulled down by some of these older numbers, but that will eventually happen. So that's exciting. Things are going in the right direction for adult education. We did our student orientations, both here at the main campus, and the way we rolled that out was kind of a staggered start, just so that we could have everything move smoothly because we're now in two different locations. So we did initial orientations here. Classes started here on this campus on the 18th of this month, and classes started over at South Campus on the 25th. And Tina, it's been our first week here. Martha's been started. She's already in the classroom. I would say all the preparation, all the work that everybody's done, this team has pulled together. It's went perfectly. It's unbelievable. So South Campus is off to truly a great start, and I would tell you that the students love it. It's fantastic. What Chef Abby put in, I know Mr. Kristen, that was really kind of your vision for what that could be because we don't have there's no food anywhere near that campus, so we really have to feed the students on campus, and it's unbelievable. That is unbelievable what's been done there. So the vision has really come to life. It's great to see that. I was not able to go during the week, but Tina really held down the fort at the fairgrounds during the week. And then my wife and I had some fun there on the weekend. And there was some students. She's actually this young lady's the fair queen for Stark County. So I guess the fair queens kind of like make the rounds to different fairs and that. Dope seems to know about that. So that seems like what they do. But that was really cool. But she was very interested in our program. I was trying to recruit her to come to our school. And the ribbon cutting, as Principal Hicks mentioned, was fantastic. And we had so much representation from top brass from all the fire departments around Medina County. I would say that was really, really impressive. I don't know how many departments we would represent there, Mr. Kristen, but most, yeah, I would say it was the vast majority of departments were there, and that was great. You can see some of the trucks over there. I was honored you asked me to hold the ribbon, so I appreciate it to have a part in that. Sorry. So continued student success. Really, our instructors are just killing it in the classroom. I proctored the Fire 2 examination, and some of these students have worked with, I would say, Mr. Chrisman and I have encouraged them along the way to help them with their success. And we had 100% passage rate on the Fire 2 exam, which is amazing. And also, these were some of our students that completed phlebotomy. They were both non-English native speakers, and they were able, we had 100% passage in that class, so it's English language learners. So that is just awesome. Both of those students, we're going to help them get their high school diploma. So I'm currently working with the state of Ohio to do that for them. And where we're at with adult education, I mean, everything has just been fantastic this past year. We've seen huge increases in enrollment. Our accreditation was the best in the state. Well, I haven't heard anybody have better reaccreditation than we have had. We received the top tier reaccreditation. Our entire staff is back, and they are really primed for success. 2 years ago, when I stepped into this role, we had a brand new welding instructor that had never taught before. We had a brand new phlebotomy instructor that had never taught before. We had a brand new certified nurse aide instructor that had never taught for people right out of industry. And so it takes a while to really get a non-classically trained, that's Mr. Christmas term, but it is the right term, a non-classically trained teacher. Our teachers are every bit instructors, but they're just non-classically trained to help get them to where they are today, where they're just killing it. They're doing a great job. The programs are all full. Tina's in good shape here because I've prepped all of her instructors for the past 2 years to step in there. The new campus, that has been a huge collaborative effort, but it is open, it's up and running, and things are going great there. And, thanks to guidance with our treasurer here, we ended the year very positively in adult education. When Mr. Christman said that's the first time in his career. So, and there's still some money in the kitty there too. And I didn't blow it all at the beginning of the year. So we've still got some money in the bank for the, for whoever the next director is.
Why that close to 2.5 million?
It's like 11 grand. There's not, maybe it's 12 now, maybe, so it's somewhere in the ballpark. But this has truly been just the greatest joy of my life to have this opportunity to work with this board, to work with this team. They are simply amazing. And so I've been incredibly blessed to have the career that I've had here over the past. This is my 25th school year here at Pearson. And worn a lot of different hats. It's been an incredible, as I told Mr. Crispin, it's been an incredible run.
You want to know when your last day was?
My last day is coming up quickly because my new employer would like me to begin. Because it has taken a little bit of time, but to ensure that we have a smooth transition, I spent very little time as former director, I will say, when I started, but I don't want to leave somebody else with that. So planning on helping out as much as I can to help with the transition. And I'm still going to be needed here because I'm the proctor for the state of Ohio for the fire test. So when the next students come in, I don't know, somebody will be up to speed on that. So I'll be coming back for that and anything else that's needed to assist with the transition over the school year.
Later in the meeting, we thought it was more meaningful for Chris not to spend 2 direct meets with the new director. But I'm recommending to get 300 hours over the next year, so he pops in a specific time, or maybe the bell draw when they start classes for the spring semester, when you start the recruitment for the next class. So Chris has graciously agreed to do those pop-in visits for us.
I got it down now pretty good, so I can help somebody out. It's a steep learning curve. It takes a year. It takes a year to figure it all out.
Chris, I want to personally thank you for all you've done for the school, for students, for faculty, and sure we go to the school. Really proud of you part of this system.
Well, thank you. I've been honored, truly. I cried last week, so I'm pretty good today for this meeting. But I had some tears with our staff last week, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna miss those guys. They're a great team that we have in adult education, and I'm gonna miss seeing you every month. It's been my pleasure, sir.
Wish you the best.
So thank you. Big challenge, and I'm taking on a really big challenge.
So before you went to adult education, you and Annette both recruited my son and my daughter to come here when you did the students, when you went from school to school, so kind of met you early on, years ago, before I ever knew that I'd be associated with you more than just that. And you've always been so first class.
Well, thank you. I joke I can't go anywhere without being recognized. My kids know I'm locally famous here, so like yesterday I went and decided that I wanted a smoothie, so I pulled in the pulp, and I got 3 people at the window. Mr. Cole. So I'm the career center guy wherever I go, and after 20-some thousand students and lots of middle school students, that probably never go away. So. But I'm honored to wear that hat still, even in retirement. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Gary's building and grounds report is submitted next year or next month. We will flip over to the new year. So it'll be very short next month. We have decided to go ahead and include Mary's monthly iTech newsletter that she sends to the staff. You've been getting them all along under the MCC all users, but we should go ahead and capture it within the items for information. Switching to action items, the first one is for the approval of advisory council members. The next one is for out to bid. The approximation that the architect is thinking it's going to be about 6.3 million. I'm confident it's going to come in under that, but I'm pretty sure it will come in under that with $330,000 fees. So you are approving the architectural and engineering fees, as well as the approval to go out to bid. And a reminder, you always have the opportunity once the bids come into you to approve or reject. I do have the mannequin quote there as presented in the total of $249,914.62. I'm requesting out-of-state travel for 2 individuals. One is for Annette for the Human Resources Professionals Conference. This will get her recertification in her Society for Human Resource Management. And the other one is for Tina Myers to attend, not just to attend, but she will be presenting at this national conference. So it's a great opportunity anytime you get to present at a national conference. The donations are actually pretty unreal right now. Melanie Miller donated a tremendous amount of stuff. She and Tina go way back. So they, when she came up to speak at the all that graduation, they had already told me that a lot of stuff is in the works. We got $14,000 in scholarships from the Gene Haas Foundation. That Gene Haas Foundation, been that number, we've been getting that for 10, 11, 12 years, something like that. Seville Fire Department, PPG has given us $25,000 each of the last several years as well. That's a student that graduated from here. She went to go work for PPG. She now works in Pittsburgh specifically, and she somehow gets this grant for us every year. And then we've got donate construction trades in memory of Bob Marks. And then we've got a donation to the care closet, some cosmetic stuff, and Marianne Moore, who's one of our instructors, giving $100 to the care closet. Under personnel, you see number 1, Mr. Lena's resignation for the purpose of retirement. And then Rhonda Ewald Juszczyk, she got a building substitute. Prior to that, she was our cosmetology instructor. She will be retiring at the end of this year. It's not my intention to replace the building substitute position. Betsy Skelly has been here for 23 years. She's been our study hall monitor. Previously, she was an educational aide in nearly every program. I'm excited the week before school started to pack her stuff up and move forward. So still wish her all the best. Josh Cole resigned his position as precision machining instructor after just a few days. We can talk about that. Christy and I subsequently hired Devin Simmons at about 2 o'clock today, and he will be starting next Monday. So the initial contract. So we're there. Mackenzie Labs was our student of the year. She is now on our firefighter EMT programming for Bel Ed. We hired her as our welcome center person. Rachel Rexford as CPR and Devin Simmons. Contract with revisions. Megan Pacifico was able to prove another year of contract, another year of employment. So we are moving her from a 5.9 to a 5.10. Reclassifications we due to college hours. Patty Ellis now will be a master's plus 20. And now Lewandowski has gotten her bachelor's plus 15. And then there is the contract on that one, Mr. Kalina to help transition and move back. And we have a few supplementals. The majority of the supplementals are associated with continuing the paint. We didn't finish this off campus. Even though we had a lot of community ones that we did all done up there. For those that were there for the luncheon a couple weeks ago, they got a lot. Not quite. So I would ask for approval of A through F for entertainment and conversation.
Any questions on those?
Make the motion to approve the superintendent's action, I would say you are.
Okay.
Second that.
Right? Questions or comments?
No, what they did at the South Campus is just phenomenal, the amount of work they did. Everything they did, the time they framed it, they put it all together, it's unbelievable. Beautiful group of buildings.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Pritchard,
Aye.
Mr. Carrick,
Aye.
Mr. Gillingham.
Aye.
Mr. West,
Yes.
Mrs. Deli.
Aye.
Mr. Guzzo.
Aye.
Thank you so much.
Board member comments?
What are the, what's the plan for the electricity? Other ones done?
We wrote another grant, we were put into contact with the Lincoln Foundation, they're from here from Medina. We know very, very well 4 to 5 board members, and Annette and I did meet with them. It was probably 2 weeks ago, and we have asked for $1.5 million towards a $2.2 million grant to start it over. And there's nothing formalized about it yet, but they seem way interested. And obviously, you would imagine people from Lincoln Electric would be very interested in having a welding program in their own town. So it's the Tom and Lincoln Foundation, and then we also requested money from the balance of that from the Wilbur Stevenson Foundation. Both of those foundations are run out of Huntington National Bank and Don Mitchell's that working for those funds.
Other comments?
We will start welding the power sites. I would be surprised if we didn't.
It's been a great meeting. The gift that Ken Cleveland. And the kids learn all about that, the education that our new students are gonna have the opportunity to have. Another hand, it's a little sad that us, not to see Mr. Cleveland presenting to us, but all in all, it's really there'll be executive session or employment. So after the meeting, we'll have 15 minutes. No action. Now, our motion to adjourn, our motion to go into executive session.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Pritchard,
Aye.
Mrs. Deli, Mr. Carrick,
Aye.
Mr. Gillingham, Mr. West,
Yes.
Mr. Guzzo.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.